Hey TikTok, my name is David Liebensohn, a once successful business owner, now sleeping in my car. Some of you may recognize me from a story that Kyla Zhao put out a few days ago. To be honest, I didn't expect all this attention so quickly after launching my website, KimKardashianRuinedMyLife.com, just a week ago. I'm embarrassed to admit that I wasn't exactly prepared for the amount of views, over 300,000 clicks on the website in just a week.
A software developer who worked with Kim Kardashian on her lucrative Kimoji app claims he's been left financially ruined and is living out of his car. David Liebensohn, 43, and two colleagues invented the Kardashian-themed emoji range, which resulted in thousands of downloads a second and the app supposedly generating $1 million a minute. But they didn't see a cent after their deal fell apart after what he claims were misunderstandings, and Kim and her no-nonsense lawyer Marty Singer gave them little option but to walk away from developing Kimoji, losing out on a fortune. Liebensohn sued Kim for $300 million in 2019, claiming she stole his idea, ran away with the trademark, telling DailyMail.com, "If I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I want everyone to know the truth about the Kardashians. I refuse to be gagged." But Kardashian's team says that Liebensohn willingly signed away all rights to the app, giving Kim unfettered ownership of Kimoji, and noted that his claims against her were rejected by an LA Superior Court judge. Liebensohn and his colleagues had initially agreed on a deal with Kardashian's team for a profit share on Kimoji and an anti-cyberbullying app they'd created called Censorgram, which Kim was eager to be the face of before the deal went south. Kim's ex-husband Kanye West even rapped about the success of the app in his 2015 song Facts. Kimoji just shut down the App Store. "And we made $1 million a minute, we made $1 million a minute." Liebensohn says he was forced to withdraw his $300 million lawsuit as his legal fees spiraled out of control, along with the rest of his life. He lost his home, his $2 million business, and his family, he told DailyMail.com. He now lives in his 2011 Toyota Prius to save on rent and showers in the gym. Liebensohn says he's got nothing left to lose and has created a website, www.KimKardashianRuinedMyLife.com, using the only technology he owns, an iPhone 13. He was living in Oklahoma City but has now moved to Los Angeles, where he's been waving a placard on the streets of Hollywood saying, "Kim Kardashian ruined my life," which he hopes will gain on and offline traction. Liebensohn admits he's bitter and can't let go of the situation. "I thought people might want to know about this story. What have I got to lose right now by telling it?" he asked. "I'm literally sleeping in my car. I might as well put all this in a story that people can maybe make some sense out of, and see what happens. I lost my wife, my kids blamed me, they had a rough time at school, they were teenagers at the time and idolized that family, Kim and her sisters, then this happened and it destroyed us." In his lawsuit, Liebensohn states that along with two partners, Narayan Shankar and his cousin Daniel Rice, he developed Censorgram in 2014 to protect social media users' accounts from bullying and spammers, while also developing sexy emoji content, which attracted Kim's attention. Kim's close friend, Jonathan Cheban, allegedly got in touch to arrange a meeting and potential investment as she loved the idea, eventually meeting at Kris Jenner's home in Calabasas in July 2014, where Liebensohn's lawsuit alleges that they agreed to a 60-40 split on Kimoji in favor of Liebensohn and his partners, and 50-50 on Censorgram. "I had other high-profile people highly interested in working with us, but the Kardashians just happened to have the biggest following, that celebrity endorsement was going to be huge," he said. "She was going on and on about wanting to be the face for anti-cyberbullying, and so it just seemed like we could jump all in with her, and the world was our oyster." According to Liebensohn's lawsuit, Kardashian insisted in a phone call that her team filed the Kimoji trademark application herself, so that there was no need for them to bear the cost. But then it all went sour 5 minutes later when she angrily dialed back to say she had a screenshot of an email sent by Shankar to a mutual friend, which contained personal information, and she said it was being sent out to all of Chicago. Liebensohn said, "Without my knowledge, one of our partners took a picture of some words on a page that Kim used in our Censorgram app. No user handle or private info. Just a little clip of a screenshot to brag. Privately between him and a friend. This friend was jealous and actually had a friend in Chicago that knew someone in Kim and Kanye's world. They intentionally sent the screenshot in the hope it would interfere. It did. Kim backed out and threatened to sue us for $5 million. They were left terrified when her Hollywood attorney Singer fired out a legal threat for causing Kim emotional distress and defamation, and demanded they sign a settlement agreement. which would release them from facing a potentially financially ruinous lawsuit on the condition that they walk away from any future development of Kimoji and never spoke publicly. That letter scared the sh*t out of us. I was shaking, I felt like my life was ending. They're going to take my house, they're going to take over everything I have if we don't hand over Kimoji and the rights to do her own censorgram, Liebensohn said. According to the settlement sent by Singer to Liebensohn and colleagues and seen by DailyMail.com, it indicated that both parties could continue to develop the apps as long as they didn't use Kim's name, KK branding or likeness, and she didn't use censorgram's copyrighted software. Nevertheless, Liebensohn felt that neither app was worth pursuing if it didn't have Kim's backing, especially if they couldn't use her name or brand. The other two signed, but Liebensohn refused, walking away with nothing except financial and personal losses, while Kardashian West profited from his work without just compensation, his lawsuit states. In a declaration, business partner Rice admitted to signing for Liebensohn. At the time of the Kimoji app's launch in December 2015, it was reported to be making $1 million a minute, with Kardashian even sending Apple a joking apology, tweeting, "Apple, I'm so sorry I broke your app store." Although Kardashian never spoke publicly about how much she profited from Kimoji, she also allegedly made a fortune from the launch of her line of Kimoji fragrances in July 2018, with TMZ reporting that she'd netted $5 million in the first 5 minutes of them being on sale. Liebensohn's life fell apart. He'd put his life savings into the business and had gone all in with Kardashian, who took the Kimoji app and made a fortune after acquiring the rights. Liebensohn's business partnership broke up and the financial stress caused a strain on his marriage. He then filed his $300 million lawsuit, but with Kardashian's bottomless money pit and Singer's doggedness, Liebensohn, who was using a retired attorney's services, never stood a chance. He was, he claims, wrongly advised to withdraw the suit after getting into $200,000 worth of debt from legal fees. At the time, Singer said the suit was ridiculous and absurd, that Liebensohn had waited 4 years to claim the agreement wasn't binding and then filed the meritless lawsuit after unsuccessful arbitration. A rep for Kim Kardashian points out that Liebensohn's claims were rejected by an arbitrator and a judge in Los Angeles Superior Court in favor of Kim in 2020. "We couldn't even get to the stage where we could show evidence in court and get them to explain themselves. They're just so good at skating around the truth, and I was going to basically need to come up with another $100,000 or more to keep playing the game in court," says Liebensohn. "My lawyer told me to withdraw the lawsuit, which I did, which was a nightmare. I had to sell my house to fund the legal fight after already putting everything into the business, which was once worth $2 million and fell apart after the Kardashian incident." After losing his home and splitting from his wife, Liebensohn twice contemplated suicide, and ended up where he is today, sleeping in his car in LA. "I'm going to be fully honest, I definitely thought about not being here a couple times. I thought about taking my life twice. But I send money to my kids every week back to Oklahoma and it just reminds me that I need to be here for them," he adds. After reaching his lowest point, Liebensohn decided to tell his story online, rationalizing that the Kardashians can't financially or emotionally harm him, as he has zero to lose. Liebensohn says, "I realized that I could sit here in my car and do nothing. It's not like I'm even hanging out watching TV at home, as I don't have a home. So I'm just going to spend every single spare second of my time on this phone. I'm going to create a website, all from my phone. And I'm going to tell the story. Now I've nothing to lose and am getting viral attention on Reddit, TikTok, and I've been putting a few signs around California. People have been taking pictures of them, reading my story online and sharing it. I definitely didn't make the best decisions, I kick myself for a lot of it for sure, but I'm not a bad guy or businessman. I'm not greedy. I just want a life back to where I'm not having to, at 43 years old, worry about how I'm going to survive. It triggers me over and over again when I hear something about the Kardashians or Jenners. Hearing Kanye's song Facts where he says Kimoji just shut down the app store, we made $1 million a minute. It's really tough to avoid getting triggered when they are everywhere on TV and online," Liebensohn said. "I didn't sign any NDA, I can shoot from the hip. I want it to be known what fully happened to me. I just needed to put it on a website and tell a cohesive story. I blame them for all of it. Because before I met them, I was on a positive trajectory. After that, everything that I'd worked for started going downhill to the point where I'm now sleeping in my car. They're 1000% to blame. I do the car camping to save money and not spend it on rent right now. I can take showers at a gym and work around it. It just makes more sense for me to be in my car. To survive, I do Amazon Flex, Grubhub, and DoorDash.
Guys, thank you so much for all the support. It's so crazy to see how many of you have reached out to offer help and see if I've made a GoFundMe. Instead of a GoFundMe, I want to start a crowdfunding campaign through Indiegogo, so that way we could do billboards, production budgets, t-shirts, whatever it takes to get this word out. Go to a dollar store and you can spend just a few bucks on a plain sign like this and a Sharpie marker, and you can write Kim Kardashian ruinmylife.com, and you can put it in your yard, you can put it at an intersection, and we could just put these things all over the world. I'm fighting not only for me, but for anybody that's ever been screwed over by the Kardashians, or just anybody in general that has been screwed over by shady business practices. This is for all of you.